Hello my fellow gacha gamers, so I'm here back with another video. But before starting, a bit of an update. I did the unimaginable and got a job, so video speed will be slower but not halted. I will keep making content in all avenues, videos, shorts and streams, so be sure to enable notifications to not miss any new content. That's all for now, time to begin this lore explanation. Ultimate attacks, a staple of anime since time immemorial. Everyone knows the classics. The Kamehameha from Goku, Yugi summoning Dark Magician, Naruto using the 20th version of a Rasengan, and Monkey D. Luffy making his fist bigger with each power-up. We all agree that flashy ultimate attacks are cool, and gacha games are no exception. This leads us to today's focus, Fate Grand Order, a game based on the Fate series, originally made by Kinoko Nasu as a visual novel in 2004 and published by Type Moon. This story introduced us to the use of magic in this world, where mages fight each other with the help of contract-bound familiars. These are called servants, and most times 7 different servants of different classes are summoned to help their mage ally and defeat the other servants to get the prize of a wish upon the Holy Grail. To not dwell too much on the mechanics and myriad of exceptions of this event, called a Holy Grail War, here we have the fundamentals. First, only 7 main participants are allowed. Each of them are given 3 command spells to use in case of an emergency, and these also serve to control the summoned servant and avoid betrayal. Then we have the 7 servant classes, the 3 knights and 4 specialists. FGO expanded upon this, and currently we know of 15 potential classes a servant can have. Finally, if a servant is defeated and disappears, their mage summoner is taken out of the war and can no longer win the wish even if they survive. Now for the actual interesting part of this discussion, the servants. These magical beings are taken from the Throne of Heroes, where the legends and information of many historical and mythical characters are stored. The requirements to become a servant are weird and not very explained, but if a character from a popular tale or of historic importance is known and sometimes believed in enough, then this information turns you into a servant. If you are a novice of this IP, then you may have seen the discussion around the gender bending of many characters. I don't have any explanation other than waifus attract more attention than historical accuracy, so that's why King Arthur is a girl now. Also, each servant can only be summoned under a singular class. Their weapons and looks also change to accommodate that. Nonetheless, each version is the strongest form they can be under a certain class. Another part of each servant is their noble phantasm, which I'm gonna call NPs from now on. This is Fate's version of an ultimate move, and each servant has a unique form of this signature move. More famous servants can develop multiple NPs. This is because they are made from the imagination of humanity and how all of us depict each hero through historic facts, anecdotes, or stories. These NPs can take on many forms, like weapons, companions, armor, or magical abilities, among other things. During a normal Holy Grail War, all servants keep their noble phantasm as a final resort, because they need to deploy it by using its real name. Revealing this name would give away their identity, which is normally hidden through their class name. It's like a game of Guess Who. You know the name of the NP, the name of the servant, but not what they look like. This is why secrecy is very important during a normal Grail War. So, we have seen what a noble phantasm is and their importance. Now let's take a look at their grade and categories. This would be the equivalent to a power scale and can determine their use or potential in each one. Grades refer to the potential power an attack can have. Most NPs have a grade of B, which in itself goes far beyond a normal mage's capacity. Even C grade NPs could in fact be as powerful as a very strong normal attack from the strongest heroes. The classification for NPs and servant skills as a whole goes from E to A, with E being the bottom of the scale and A being the top. These grades are further divided into plus and minus categories. There is a number of NPs that could go over the A+ grade and step into EX territory. This is rare, but it has happened, so if you see an EX Noble Phantasm, you better be prepared to be reduced to atoms, because if there's a small amount of EX attacks, then there's even less EX defenses to make you stand a chance. Now for classifications. There are too many and many of them only have one specific NP to describe, so we are going to see the wider classes first and then look at some special cases with their own classification. Anti-unit. These are used to defeat an opponent in single combat. They're very useful since most times servants engage in one-on-one combat. Most are very cost efficient, which allows for repeated use of the NP before the servant needs to recharge their magical energy. However, they can also be defended against or deflected. Some examples include Billy the Kid's Thunderer, a 3-shot counterattack that can't miss the target but can be defended against, or Kurchu Lane's Gae Bolg that changes the laws of causality and pierces an enemy's heart before the attack goes through. Anti-Army. As the name implies, NPs under this classification are powerful enough to wipe out an army. Useful against multiple targets, they normally take a while to charge, and are used by chanting a special spell, which is kind of redundant. These NPs use a lot of magical energy, and as such are used only as a last resort, or when faced against giant enemies or multiple servants. Some examples are Siegfried's Balmung, which summons a powerful magic beam fueled by pure ether, which in itself is the most powerful and primordial form of magic, or Medusa's Bellerophon, which summons the Pegasus that originated from her blood after being defeated by Perseus. She then rides Pegasus and uses it as a missile made out of magical energy. Anti-Planet. Considered to be theoretically impossible by human heroic spirits, this classification is very rare and even the strongest attacks by servants couldn't destroy the Earth, but some entities have the potential to crack the planet. For example, Bibi's Cursed Cutting Crater changes parts of the world for exact copies that fall under her control. This in turn lets her destroy these chunks of a planet, and done enough times, it could destroy the world or render it inhabitable. Other mythical example is Surtur and his sword Leviathan. It was forced to destroy all life and reduce it to ash. This was done to bring an end to the Age of Gods in Northern mythology, an event also known as Ragnarok. Barrier. These kind of NPs are defensive in nature, by creating a bounded field that separates the outside from the inside. There are not many NPs under this category, even if some apply all the characteristics. But a very popular example comes from Jeanne d'Arc's Luminosité Éternelle, the flag used to rally her allies. By issuing a prayer, she can keep anyone inside the field free from harm and can even heal them, making this a very useful tool in long battles. So, those are the major classifications of noble phantasm. There are some divisions between them, like the self suffix that affects the user instead of an opponent. These normally serve as a power boost to the servant. Other changes are the special technique anti-unit NPs, based not from magical energy, but the skill of the servant with their weapon. They normally have a low grade but can be used multiple times since they don't use magical energy. With those subcategories done, let's see some special cases. The most known character in the series, Artoria Pendragon, uses the holy sword Excalibur. When summoned, the following attack has the Anti-Fortress classification. Presumed to be stronger than an anti-army, but weaker than anti-world NPs. The only other NP under this category was given to Lubus Godforce, but only in the games of Fate Extra. During the first arc of FGO, Grandcaster Solomon uses his NP Ars Almadel Salomonis to burn human history. This NP got the Anti-Human Hoarder classification. Anti-Divine NPs are very powerful against godly opponents. The only servant that keeps this classification in all their NPs is Oda Nobunaga. While her class and form of attack change, the NP will always have the advantage against divine beings. Karna's Vasavi Shakti also has this type of attack, but it was changed in FGO. There are many other types of NP due to the size of this series. And now to rapid fire some of the most bizarre classifications, like Anti-Feast, Anti-Team, Anti-Wave, Conceptual, Fortress, Labyrinth, Poetry, Auto Alt F4, and Unknown. So that's gonna be the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more simplified content. I also am active on other platforms, so if you want more OXM, well, check them out. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.